Blessings on blessings, yeah, yeah. Blessings on blessings,
Most High
yeah.
blessed me, and as I was looking in through the Ruach, it showed me a couple of things with a little bit of experience. Um, Made a little bit of Kool-Aid, Kodesh Kool-Aid going on over here, and I had to go back a little bit. And especially with these times, I have to check these things out, and it's really everybody's going through a little something, rockily spiritually, and now through desire and discernment, this is necessary. Um, so without further ado, I am recording. All right, cool. So let's start off in let's go back to verse 16 here. So we're in Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. So let's go back and let's go back here real quick and let's check out some things, right? So it says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves," right? And it says, "But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues," right? "And ye shall be brought before governors, kings, for my sake and for my testimony against them and the Gentiles," right? So what's being said is it's the continuation of the 12 being sent out to preach the kingdom to the world, and it's a continuation of what he says, going into the different towns, right? And it says, freely you have received. So it says, "And ye shall go and preach, saying the kingdom of Shamayim is at hand." And it says, "Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received and freely give," right? So they're still going out and doing these things. Now, in the midst of us going out and preaching the kingdom and doing these things, there's going to be consequences, and um there's going to be turbulence. And right now, as we're going through this turbulence, it is very important that we are wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Because as we're dealing with people, we got to make sure we have no guile in our mouth, right? At these times, we have to be wise and gentle, because it's not about, we have to take this blunt. We have to take this damage so that the healing and the light must show regardless, right? So in order for the healing to go out and for judgment to go out, and why do I say judgment to come out? Because there's a mission and a promise that's at hand that we must remember, that we keep forgetting. And I'm gonna keep going to it over and over and over again um until it should be on the front list of our minds and in our hands, right? So it says, "I will make you," this is the promise to Abraham for all of Israel and our purpose. He says, "I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing." You shall be a blessing. That is our purpose and our mission, to be a blessing, a vessel of blessing. And he says, "I will bless them that bless thee, and I will curse him that curse thee." So, and he says, "And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed," right? So it's blessings and cursings flow through us. That cup that runneth over, he places it in us, and we are vessels that pours it out onto others. Now, either they're going to drink from the cup and be blessed, or they're going to push it away. You see? So, with that being said, in order for us to be perfect vessels of the Most High, we must do things His way, not our way according to our feelings. We must do things and be the vessel that He wants us to be, not the ones that we want to be. We must remove our feelings from this thing. It is very important, because feelings is going to destroy us, and feelings is going to cause division and death. So that's just the start of this. This is just the start of this. Desire and feelings and personal wants is going to make you choose your path and the path of others. But you must be blameless. And in order to be blameless, we must be wise. And the only way for us to be wise is if we're in this word and then we're looking towards the Most High. Also understand we must be harmless. We cannot lash out the way that we want to. We cannot. Because we don't want to give them no cause. We must be blameless like Mashiach. We must do it like Mashiach. We must handle things like Mashiach. Sometimes you just got to walk away. Sometimes you just got to just let people be where they're at. It's a continuation from our Shabbat lesson, but we're just going to push on. So it says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils and they will scourge you in the synagogues. They will do that. But we still must be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And he says, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake. Whose sake? Not for your sake. It's for his sake. And we know that Mashiach does the will of the Father. So it's ultimately for the Father's sake, right? So as I continue, I apologize if I'm going a little fast, but I just, I'm just trying to put that in there so that we can know where we're going. I got a lot of ground to make, right? So he says, but when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in the same hour what you shall speak. Just go out there and do the work. He's going to take care of you. He's the one that's been driving out. It's not about you. It is about him. You just be a vessel. He's going to be the one doing the pouring, right? And he says, and continues, says, for it is not ye that speak, but the Ruach of Abba Yah, which speaks in you. You're the vessel. Be wise, be harmless, be still. Have no holes in you so that whatever he pours in you do not leak out the wrong way. You feel me? Handle the things properly. Be a vessel. You see? Very, very, very important. We must focus on understanding where this is all coming from, why this is happening. It's not because of us. It's because of the Most High. He's using us. There's like he used us to punish the Jebusites, the Canaanites, all those that was in the land of Canaan. He used us to punish them. He just told us just to move out spread out throughout the land. And I will drive them out ahead of you. He said he's going to drive them out. I just need for you to be there. That's what they did, right? And what happened when those that did not follow him, guess what happened? When they did what they thought was good, what they thought was right, those people stayed there and it was a snare to them. And it caused the next generation to lose their blessing. It caused corruption. The vessels had holes in it and they became broken. Our job is to be obedient. I hope y'all understand that. But it continues, says, for it is not ye but that speak, but the Spirit of the Most High, which speaketh in you. And he says, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father, the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my sake, right? But let's talk about that 20 and that 21. Because when I first read this, I thought that it was just talking about our persecution, but this is dual purpose. It is two ways to look at this. It's not just us being persecuted, because the promise said that he will bless thee who bless us and curse thee who curses us, right? You see, if we're wise as serpents and gentle as doves, whatever we endure, they will be judged for. We will endure, we may have to endure the physical persecution, the physical death, but guess who has to deal with the spiritual death? So if you read it now, we read it the way that we're receiving. Now let's read it back the way that is being given by the Most High. You see, for it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of Yah, which speaketh in you. So if he's speaking in you, he says, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death. Why? Because the Father's going to be speaking through you. And that brother is going to have to make a decision. Follow the Most High or die. the father to the child, hey, I'm raising you the best way I can. I'm doing the will of the Most High. You gonna obey me? You gonna obey the words that I bring to you from the Most High? Or are you gonna die? And he says, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. It's gonna be children that's gonna be trying to get their parents to come into the truth. Like, hey, yo, what y'all doing? Hey, this is the truth. I know y'all been a part of this organization or part of this situation, but what I'm telling you is the truth from the Father to you. And based on their parents' decision and their children's discernment and set apartness, it's going to cause their parents to die. Their parents is going to have to choose. Some would choose life and some would choose death. Some people just want to be cursed. And pressing forward, right? So in 22, it says, and ye shall be hated, in continuation, you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So you're going to be hated, not just because of you, but you're going to be hated because of him, because it's him that's working, that's talking, that's sending you. You just got to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, keeping Torah, keeping your vessel secure. And to support this 22, what I'm talking about, let's take a look at this Exodus. Let's take a look at this Exodus 32. Kiefer, I know Kiefer getting all happy. You know what I'm saying? We get to go back into good old Exodus. We thought we was, oh no, we didn't get to this point yet, huh? Well, my bad. So let's take a look at verse 25 here. Because this is exactly what happens. See, we got to understand the word that we're moving. We're actually moving like the Levites right now. Let's see why this is happening. So it says, for this is the making of the golden calf, right? And this is Aaron pleading his case. I'm gonna start at verse 24 for the sake of time. He says, and I said unto them, whosoever haveth any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it me, then I cast it into the fire, and there came out a calf, right? It's amazing that the gold and the jewels that they received, that the Father, their reparations that they received from them coming out of Mitzrayim, they imparted, turned, and gave their jewels that the Father gave them to make their own calf. They broke off their gold, right? And then what happens? So it says, so because we got to go in that fire, right? The gold is what's valuable, right? No, it says, and Moshe saw the people naked, right? And it says, Aharon had them naked unto their shame among their enemies. And Moshe stood at the gate of camp, and he says, who is on Yah's side? Let him come unto me. He says, let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, thus saith Yah, our Elohim of Yisrael, put every man his sword by his side and go in and out from the gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his what? His brother. Every man his what? His companion. Every man his neighbor. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moshe, and there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men. And it says, for Moshe, he said, consecrate yourselves today to Yah, even every man upon his son and upon his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day. You make a decision so you be blessed. It's division. What we're talking about here right now, we're speaking division. In the very beginning in Genesis 1, the first thing that he did was created light. Then he divided the light and the darkness, right? Then he caused the division, called it the firmament, but he caused the division between the waters below. He took the waters that's below and then caused the waters to be above. But how did the water be above? It was set apart to be above. He chose the water that was going to be above. He chose it. He gave it a standard and an ordinance to be above instead of being below. And then it was a firmament, Torah, that it followed to keep it above. And when he decided for that water that's above to come back down below, he commanded it. The water didn't come down on his own. He set apart that water. He chose Yisrael, right? He set them apart, but there was a standard, the commandments, Torah. There was a door that has to be passed, right? You know, you got to get into that garden. My bad, Keith. I'm not gonna mess with your lesson. But Mashiach said that he's the door, right? So if he's the door that's controlling how you get into the land, or how you get into this Kodesh place, this set apart place, then there's an ordinance that must be followed and a standard that must be followed. That's how we start. You see, that Torah, that ordinance that we must follow is where we get our wisdom from, is how we learn to be harmless. It's not as stiff as we can be, not to be as rough. So now in verse 23, it says, but when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another, for verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. The disciple is not above his master, right? So before I get into 24, 23 says to flee. Harmless as a dove. He's like, man, you don't even got to fight with them. When they come and persecute you, they come after you, just go ahead and flee. Go ahead and flee. Why? Because he says, well, vengeance is mine, right? And he's going to tell you why. He says, for verily I say unto you, you should not have gone through all the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. But there's another reason why, right? He says here in verse 15, says, verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Vengeance is his. Just feel sorry for him, keep on pushing. We must remain blameless in this situation. It's hard, I understand. I've been going through it all year. But we must remain blameless because the Father brings the perfect judgment. He says the perfect things. He does the perfect correction. It might be a brother that you're trying to heal, but if you lash out wrong, you might make him even worse to the point that he'll never receive the word, and then he dies because you didn't handle a situation properly. It's that severe. It's that severe. We must let the Most High handle these things. We must. It's hard. This wisdom, sometimes we might go a little too far with the wisdom. We forget that, no, we might be able to step without the Father. The Father's perfect wisdom. We don't have wisdom without him. Hallelujah. Let's take a look at verse. So continue with verse 24 and 25, right? And it says, the disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household? So again, it's reiterating the fact that it's the Father that's speaking through you. You're doing the will of the master. They're going to call you Beelzebub because they're really trying to call him Beelzebub. They're hating on you because they hate him. And they don't even know. They don't understand. It's the spirit that's driving them. It's the evil ruach that's got them, that hates the light. It's that dividing factor. It hates the light. Let's take a look at Genesis 4, right? A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. What is a fugitive? Someone that runs away from the law. What is a vagabond? A person who wanders. You're bringing the word of the Most High. They're running away from it. They want their will and their desire. That's the reason why we fail. We our own heart's desire got corrupted by the enemy. That's what happened. And it's happening right now. That's why the hurricane is coming through. The hurricane is coming through to scatter. If you're not protected, you're going to be cast all around like everybody else. We must stay vigilant. We must stay strong, Mishpachah. If we're servants of the Most High, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're speaking. We're doing the will of the Most High. The wheat and the tares, somebody's going to have to be cast in the fire. That tear neck might be a little too strong. It's going to get lopped off. People set themselves apart, Mishpachah. So he says here in verse 26, right? And I hope y'all rolling with me. And he says in 26, he's fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in the darkness, that speak ye in the light, and what ye hear in your ears, that preach ye upon the housetop. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body. Right? So as you can see now, this part comes in. It's the beginning of the vision. Do not cover your light up. What are we talking about here? Let's take a look at Matthew, because these things pair up a little bit. Because, well, if you're fearing the people. You're worried about the people, right? Because of the persecution, because of the hatred, right? We're worried about what they're going to do. Why are we worried? Let's take a look at 13, Matthew 13. We'll take a look at 18 and 19 first, right? It says, hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understand it not, then come the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received by the wayside. So you're going to be running around with people that's even in the Mishpachah, that's where they know the word, right? You're going to be talking to them about the word. Like, hey, you're trying to give them correction. Correction is necessary. But if in their heart, the Father is not in there, it's going to separate them. They're going to separate themselves. The firmament is going to be made and they're going to make it. Because when anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and don't understand it, they can show up to Torah classes all day. They can watch somebody read lessons, do whatever for them all day long. If they don't understand the word, they're going to be swept up in wickedness. They're going to be swept up. This is what happens. They're going to have fears. They're going to have doubts. He says, fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed. That darkness is going to be revealed. Whatever they love in darkness is going to be revealed. You're revealing it. And even if you do try to, so even if they think that they're hiding it, you're right there. Even if they think that they're hiding it or they can't be seen, Abba Yah is coming. You ain't gotta reveal it. We think that we gotta reveal it. We just gotta be vessels. That's all we gotta do. We just got to be. If we just be, the Father is going to take care of it. We don't gotta expose nothing. That's why people get angry. They're trying to cover it up. The shadow hides from the light. But it's going to be known when judgment comes. It's like what he said in Exodus. He's going to judge them. Let's take a look at that real quick. What did he say? Moshe went to try to atone for Israel. And this is what he said. He says, No, it says, and Moshe returned unto Yah and said, oh, this people, and this is Exodus 32:31. Oh, this people have sinned a great sin and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sins, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of the book which thou hast written. And Yah said, this is what Yah said to Moshe, whosoever have sinned against me, him will I blot out my book. Therefore, now go, lead the people into the place of which I have spoken unto thee. Behold, my Malachim shall go before thee. Nevertheless, in the day when I visit, I will visit their sin upon them. He will visit. You go back, do your job, be the light of the world. Follow these instructions. The Malachim that's ahead of you. Follow the ordinance, follow that light, stay on the path. He's going to take care of it. We just need to be our vessels, do our job that we're supposed to do, right? What I tell you in darkness, speak ye in the light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach thee upon the housetops. That's right. Because we're making division out here. And he says, fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the Ruach. Right? It says, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both Ruach and body in Sheol or in hell. Right? Don't even fear. We're going to talk about more fearing soon. Right? Let's take a look at Psalms, right? Let's take a look at Psalms real quick. Psalms 56, I just haven't been going through. Let's talk about this fear, right? I'm gonna read this to y'all. It's kind of short. And it says, be merciful unto me, O Elohim, for man would swallow me up. He fighting daily oppresses me. Mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me, O thou most high. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. In Elohim, I will praise his word. In Elohim, I put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me. Every day they wrest my words. All their thoughts are against me for evil. They gave themselves together. They hid themselves. They mark my steps. When they wait for my soul, shall they escape by iniquity? In thy anger, cast down the people, O Elohim. Thou tellest my wandering, put thou my tears into thy bottle. Are they not in thy book? When I cry unto thee, then shall mine enemies turn back. This I know, for Elohim is for me. In Yah will I praise his word. In Elohim have I put my trust. I will not be afraid what man can do unto me. Thy vows are upon me, O Elohim. I render praise unto thee, for thou hast delivered my soul from death. Will not thou deliver my feet from falling? That I may walk before Elohim in the light of the living. In the light. Same thing that we're talking here. Go ahead, talk to me, Art. Shalom.
Shalom. I'm glad you actually went there in Psalms, Aki, because it pairs perfectly with what you're reading. You notice it says, first fear not them that can kill the body, right?
That's right.
And so where you just went to in Psalms shows the lack of fear for those who can persecute us, right? But then the other side of what we're reading in Matthew says, but fear him that can kill Ruach or destroy Ruach and soul or flesh in Sheol. Now, one of the things that we like to do in the quote unquote awakening is we say, hey, love is an action word, right? Ahava, it's an action word. It has nothing to do with emotion, but that fear is also an action word too. So one of the things that I started to study early is what does it actually look like to fear Yahuwah? Because we know that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of Yahuwah. But if you, Aki, if you could go to Psalm 34 and 10, we're gonna see what the flip side of that fearing the one who could destroy Ruach and body looks like.
Right.
Psalm 34, verse 10.
That's right. There you go. I'm gonna read it for you.
Yep.
It says, "Come, ye children, hearken unto me. I will teach you the fear of Yah."
All right, so he gonna teach us the fear. So what does the fear of Yahuwah look like? Go ahead, Aki.
It says, "What man is he that desireth life and loveth many days, that he may see good?" Woo, woo. Keep thy tongue from evil, and thy lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it.
You know, so that's one of the passages that I hold on to, because we often like to say that we fear Yahuwah, and we often like to use the term that, you know, love is action based, but the fear of Yahuwah is also action based. And this passage right here teaches us what the fear of the one who can destroy Ruach and body looks like. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, hallelujah. Keith, I hope you wrote that down, man. That's the one right there. That's the one. Hallelujah. That's right on point. Right on point. All right, now. So in continuing, whew, that was hot. I'm adding that to my notes right there. That is hot right there. All right. So in continuing, so let's take a look at this 29. It says, "Are not two sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your father," right? So they're not going to fall unless he have them fall. They're not going to fall without him. He says, "But the very hair of your head are also numbered," just like them coins. He says, "Fear ye therefore," he says, "Fear ye not therefore, ye are more valuable than many sparrows." Right? "For whosoever therefore shall confess me." Now we're going back to the division again. We're going back to the mission. We're going back to doing the will of the Most High. We're going back to being the vessels again. We're going back to the division. "Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father." Right? "But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father," which is in the Shamayim. Right? So now it's like, okay, now it's getting heavy. Now it's getting real heavy, right? So what is he talking about? Right? Because it's all about the Most High, right? We talked about Moshe, right? We talked about Moshe when he says, "Man, do you want me to get you? Must I fetch you water?" No, that's what he said, right? It's what we confessing the Most High.
That's right, Aki.
It's what we confessing the Most High. Must I? You see, it's about the Father. When you turn the wrong way, you become the wrong vessel. You're not pouring out what the Father's putting into you. You're pouring out the devil. You're pouring out your will, your own delusion, whatever's in your desire, not him. And we're gonna get to it. We're heading there. So in this confession, why are we confessing this thing? Well, here we go in 34. It says, "Think not that I have come to send peace on the earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword." He's causing, from the very beginning, division. 4:35. This is, "For I have come to set a man at variance against his father, daughter against his mother, and the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. And a man's foe shall be they of his own household, his own tribe, or his own nation. That Psalms that I read is not just talking about your enemy, but it's another, that whole Psalm 50 through 60 is all about and has variants of your own brethren hating you, your own brethren being at odds with you. Not all Israel is Israel. And we must be able to discern this thing. People might not serve the Most High for the same reason as you. So when you try to come to them and you try to give them correction, you're walking in that line. That hurricane is going to smack them, and it was never secure. Why wasn't they secure? Well, let's go back to Matthew 13. These are the reasons. He already gave it to you, but he's gonna give it to you stronger a little later, right? So, and it says here, so that's the wayside, right? Someone pecked it up out of you. They took it up out of you. Now, but it says, but he that receiveth the seed on the stony place, the same is he that heareth the word in Anon with joy receive it. Yet hath he not root in himself, but dareth for a while. For when the tribulation of persecution arises becomes because of the word, by and by he is offended. This person that wasn't rooted, why aren't you rooted? You're not secure. Why are you not secure? Because you don't know Torah. You lack understanding. You're not embedded. You're not deeply rooted. Your desire of your heart wasn't corrected. You wanted the stone, but you wasn't secured in that stone. You wasn't in the right place to be. See, it's crazy that it says that, it says that the Most High is the rock of your salvation. You know what's wrong with this root? It tried to find its own rock. And that rock that it was hugging did not secure him. People be offended, but when people will be offended when they talk about that rock, but that's not the rock of salvation. That rock didn't secure you when you was in tribulation and persecution, because that rock was not the rock of your salvation. That was your rock. That was your desire, and it will not hold you. You see? He also that receiveth the seed among the thorns, he that heareth the word, he hear it. But the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word and become unfruitful. People are going to rise up around you and try to pluck people are going to try to pluck the word like the crows. People are going to try to talk about your rock. They try to make you think that the Most High and the rock of your salvation is not the real rock. They're going to try to make you think that the real rock of your salvation is not the rock. They're going to try to tell you something is wrong with Torah. They're going to try to make you unsecure when you're rooted in good soil. And the thorns are just going to come around and throw shade. You can't even move. They're going to try to choke you out. You see, we must be able to discern our own brethren, and people amongst the world that swear that they love the word or don't. This is what's going to happen if they're not secure. That hurricane is coming, y'all. When that hurricane comes, that debris may come. That debris is treacherous. Man against man, foe, brother against whoever. It's dangerous. But the Most High can be using us as hurricanes as well. Either you with them or you're not, right? Verse 36, and it says, and a man's foe shall be they of his own house. Those who are not secured in the word, be careful. It's going to cause chaos. the desire of their heart is going to tear them away because the evil ruach is going to be on them. They're not secured in Torah. They're not strong. They're spiritually weak. It's going to tear them apart. It's going to be too strong for them. It says, he that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. That's the cares of the world. He also that receiveth the seed among thorns, he that heareth the word, and the care of this world. Choke the word and become unfruitful. The cares of this world. Him that loves son and daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Those Levites that had to go and slay, those who couldn't go up there and slay all that was naked, brother, sister, mother, best friend, whoever, was not worthy of the Most High. And I'm sorry, but that's real. That's what we got to do. We got to be the vessels, or we're going to be swept up or broken too. We got to be careful. And he says that he that taketh not his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. So it's like, hey, he just doubled down. Mashiach is just doubled down in here. You see? If you're not willing to be submissive to the mission of the Most High, or be that vessel, that mouthpiece that he wants you to be, you're not worthy of him. If you're going to cover up your light, you cover up your light. You decide. You see? So in continuing, fear only Yah, and this is the beginning of the dividing. If you stop the fearing of Yah and following his way, you set yourself for destruction. So it says, he that findeth his life shall lose it. He that loses his life for my sake shall find it. If you're seeking to make your own life, you're going to lose it. Which life are you fighting for? The life of this world, or the life of perfection that the Most High is going to give you? Which one? Which side of the divide are you on? Are you dying for this world, or are you dying for eternity? Are you dying for the promise? What are you dying for? That's right, the life to come. So verse 40, right? It says, he that receiveth you receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. How does that work? That sounds familiar, but how does that work? He says, he that receiveth a prophet in the name of the prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he says that he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of the disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall no wise lose his reward. But why? Why is that the case? Because he says that he that receiveth you receiveth me. And he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. It depends on who you're a prophet for. Because if you're the mouthpiece of the Most High, the prophet is going to speak whose words? The words of the Father. He's going to be that vessel. That's his job. If he's speaking the words of the Father and he receives the words that's coming out of your mouth, then they're receiving the Father. And whatever, there's no that a lot of prophets make prophets. Wasn't it the prophet? Was prophets of then Elisha had a whole school of prophets. A lot of prophets keep prophets with them. They be blessed with the reward of prophecy. And since they know the word, then they will receive the same reward that a prophet receives of doing that work. A workman is worth his meat. And it says, and he that receiveth a righteous man, and in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man reward. Why? Because the only way you can be righteous is if you're in Torah. That's the only way. You're not, there is no way you can be righteous outside of Torah. If you receive this righteous man, you receive a righteous reward. You receive that peace. You receive that which was spoken up here. It says, if thy house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it not be worthy, let your peace return to you. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart from the house, shake off the dust of your feet. They're not worthy. It's going to be people around that's not worthy to be around you. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And it says, whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of water, only in the name of the disciple. So if one, even if you're one lonely disciple, right? Verily I say unto you, unto he shall it no wise lose his reward. Shall not lose that reward at all. Because now that you think about it, that cold water, that good water that runneth over, that water that you drink on, that only Mashiach can give you, that you'll never thirst, you pay it to one of these little ones. Give it to one of these little ones so that they can grow and have eternal life. Of course you won't lose your reward. You're doing the will of the Most High. But make sure you discern who's worthy. Why are we talking about this thing in 40 through 42? Because of the mission that's here yet again. He says, I will make thy name great and thou shalt be a blessing. That's what our purpose is. Us doing the will of the Most High, speaking his word, doing his will, walking in the ways of his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, being wise as a viper and gentle as a dove. When you coming upon a house, preaching peace, salute it, so that we can be here again. I will bless them. Those who receive your water receive the blessing. Those who try to knock the cup out your hand, they become cursed. That's why we must endure to the end. We must stay strong and secure, Mishpachah. Because it's going to be a lot of people that's going to be that needs to hear this word. They need the prophecy. They need to see righteousness and learn how to be righteous. They need to understand the Most High. They need to hear his voice. They need to hear his word. And that's our job to do it. But we must discern properly. We must endure. We must be secure. We must keep ourselves together. We must stay in the hands of the Most High. And with that being said, that's the end of the message.
One of the ways that the Most High has blessed me this year is by bringing like-minded individuals into my life that I can pray, read, and fast with. I'm super grateful for all of them. Shout out to FOTW, followers of the way, Young Adobe.